Hi, I'm Nicole, and in this video, I'm going to give you some tangible ways that you can live in harmony with nature. I have a degree in environmental studies and economics, and here on this channel, I talk about sustainable living, minimalism, and veganism. So if those are things you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button. So yesterday I talked about how we are a part of nature and that we are unable to fully separate from it. If you missed that, you can watch it by clicking right here. But basically in this video, I want to focus on how we can really begin to move in the flow of nature rather than moving against it, which is what society collectively has done as we've progressed. Obviously, my first tip is just going to be to go vegan. Going vegan is a wonderful way to cut out all that cruelty and all that environmental destruction. If you want to know why exactly animal agriculture is so destructive, I talk about it some in this video here, as well as in the previous video that was linked in the first card. So I just wanted to put that out there as that is the single biggest thing you could do for the environment and honestly to feel the best. I personally feel the best that I ever have going vegan than I ever did as a vegetarian or as a meat eater. I think that veganism is just a wonderful way to live a compassionate lifestyle and also really just be your happiest and best self. But I really want to take the time in this video to dive into some other less obvious ways that you can live in harmony with nature. Number one would be to grow a garden, but not just any garden. Growing a garden with edible foods that are local to your area. This will not only provide you with food and sustenance, but it will also help the wildlife in your area. It will help the insects and the pollinators, as well as other wildlife. Basically, when you grow local native plants, it is extremely beneficial to your local environment because it helps that wildlife get what they need in order to keep the system balanced. It also, again, we have an issue with pollinators and their depletion. So by planting different foods that are useful to pollinators and are native, you will be making a huge impact for them in a positive way. Also, this is just a really wonderful way to connect with the earth and connect with nature itself. It's really cool to be able to watch something that you planted grow and develop. So growing your own garden and not using any kind of pesticides or fertilizers on it, just really allowing it to grow naturally, take care of it, but don't manipulate it in any way. If you plant stuff and it gets eaten by the deer, let the deer eat it. If you plant stuff and it has bugs on it, you can try to remove them, but don't spray any chemicals because it begins to sort of mess with the process. Try to see this rather than what you're getting for yourself. See it as a gift to nature and that there will be some left over for you if you are meant to have it. Another thing you can do is that if you have a garden, you can also have a compost pile. So basically taking food scraps and creating a veganic compost pile. I also have a video on that right here. And the great thing is that if you have a garden, you can have some wonderful soil that you can then use in that garden. If it turns out that at the end you have way too much soil left over, you can donate it to your community. And this way you are spreading positivity and light, and you are really allowing your food to complete a full cycle. That's the thing, is that humans are the only ones that create such waste in their life. Most of nature is like a perfect system that it's a closed loop that just everything gets reused and recycled and decomposes and then comes back to life again. So our food should not be going to a landfill where it rots and creates leaching that then creates other waste problems. It should be composted and basically able to continue growing more food. So this is another really powerful lesson that you can learn to connect with nature. The third thing you can do to connect with nature is to wake up and go to bed with the sun. Now I know this can be a little bit difficult depending on the time of year and it doesn't need to be perfect, but especially waking up with the sun, I love waking up early and I find that if the sun's coming up too, it just for some reason makes me feel more awake and more able to get up. And it's just something that's really interesting to experiment with and see how you like it. Obviously going to bed with the sun can be a little bit more difficult, but I recommend playing around with it. The fourth thing you can do is consume local and in-season food. I recommend going to farmers markets to try and obtain as much of your produce as you can. This is a great way to keep more money in your local economy and give it to people who are trying to do things the right way. More often than not, local small-scale farmers are far more ethical in their practices than the large-scale monocultured produce you're going to get at the grocery store. By eating locally and eating in season, you are making sure that your food is not traveling major distances to get to you, and it's also going to be at optimal ripeness and optimal nutrient levels. So please consider eating in season. It's again, it kind of gets your body in tune with what's going on with nature, and I think you'd be surprised what a difference it makes. Tip number 5 is just to spend time in nature and exercise in nature. I personally love to get my exercise done by running outside, and on days where I don't run, I at least try to go for a walk. Basically, this gives me the opportunity to get some vitamin D through sunlight and to just spend time in nature, in the fresh air with the trees. I honestly feel such a difference than if I go on an elliptical or a treadmill or something like that. Just being out in nature is so unbelievably healing. And in my free ebook, I talk a lot about the importance of connecting to nature in order to declutter your mind, body, and space. If you want to grab your copy of that, you can click the link in the description box, and it's 100% free. You just need to put in your name and email. Literally spending time in nature has completely changed my life and my happiness level. And if you're not doing it every single day, I strongly, strongly recommend it. Studies have shown that just by spending 20 minutes a week in nature, it can have a really big effect on your moods and your outlook on life. So it's a non-negotiable. It is so important to make sure you're getting out in nature, and it's also a really great way to connect with the part of nature that is within you. Tip number 6 is to open your windows, let some fresh air into your house. It once again just helps you reconnect with nature and get some of that fresh, clean oxygen. You know, we have a lot of chemicals in our house. Even if you buy all natural beauty products and cleaning products, there's still toxins in our carpets, in plastics, in furniture, and it's really important to open our windows and let that air kind of circulate out. So this is a really great way to help limit the amount of toxin exposure that you're getting in your house, as well as help you feel more connected to nature. Number 7 is to try and make your own cleaning and beauty products out of natural ingredients. So that would be things like vinegar, lemon, olive oil, baking soda. So this is a really awesome way to also limit the amount of toxins in your house, as well as limit the environmental destruction from different chemical cleaners and different stuff getting washed down our drains and into our waterways. You also just really see how powerful nature is in that these natural substances and minerals are so powerful and so effective, and it honestly sometimes makes you wonder why we are so brainwashed through marketing to spend all this money on these toxic chemical items that, yes, they work sometimes, but there are natural alternatives that are fantastic and that work without all the negative implications that these chemical cleaners have. So I strongly recommend looking into making your own handmade beauty products and cleaning products and seeing which ones work for you. If you want a video on which ones I use, just let me know down below. I'd be happy to make that video. So I think I'm gonna stop there. The list really goes on and on. There are so many ways that you can connect with nature and really feel that oneness and begin healing your relationship with you and nature. And I am so passionate about this topic. I love discussing it, so I'd love to have a conversation in the comment section below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!